Good morning, sir. I'm Ling from PISMP MT2921. I'm now undergoing my practical phase 2 at SJK Samhahin. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to present my mid-practical reflection RPP. Here's are the contents that I would like to talk about later in my RPP. We got introduction, pedagogy, BPM, PBL, and also innovation. Lastly, we have the difficulties and the strategy to solve the difficulties. During my teaching practicum, I taught primary school pupils, which are year 3 pupils, and apply a variety of student-centered teaching strategy in the classroom. This experience has allowed me to develop essential skills in lesson planning, classroom management, and engaging pupils effectively. In this reflection, I will share my experience focusing on pedagogical approaches, problem-based learning, teaching innovations, teaching materials, assessment methods, challenges that I have encountered, and how I address them, and my overall professional growth. So during my practicum, I apply student-centered learning approaches to encourage my pupils to be actively involved in their learning. One of the main pedagogical approaches I use is the 5E instructional model, which consists of engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. This model allows pupils to first explore concepts through hands-on activities and discussions before receiving formal explanations, which promotes critical thinking and self-directed learning. In addition, I implemented cooperative learning, encouraging pupils to work in small groups or in pairs to discuss and solve problems together. This method not only enhances understanding of the concepts, but also develops pupils' communication and collaboration skills. Finally, I incorporated questioning techniques throughout the lessons to check pupils' understanding. I guide them to think deeper and ensure that every pupil actively participates in the learning process. Next, a key part of my practicum teaching was implementing problem-based learning, PBL, which encouraged pupils to actively solve problems and develop their critical thinking skills. One of the projects I designed for PBL is titled My Magical Number Storybook. In this project, each pupil selects a special number within 10,000 and uses it to complete a series of mathematical tasks over 6 learning sessions. The purpose of this project is to help pupils to understand numbers within 10,000, place value, number patterns, and rounding in a meaningful context. Pupils not only explore mathematical concepts, but also connect their learning to real-life or personal meaningful numbers, such as the number can be their birthday or lucky numbers, which makes their learning more engaging and motivating. So the PBL project is structured over 6 days, with each day focusing on a different task. For day 1, pupils introduce their magical number, write it in words and also numbers, then explain why they chose it. This helps the students to connect personally with their chosen number. Day 2, the pupils explore the composition of their number using visual models. They can draw, they can write, or anything they want. This will reinforce their understanding of place value. Day 3, pupils find the number before and after their number by counting in tens, which strengthen their understanding of number sequences and patterns. Day 4, pupils break their number into place values, calculate the value of each digit, which is the digit value, and also understand the significance of each position. Day 5, pupils estimate their number into the nearest 10, helping them to practice rounding and estimation skills. The last day, which is the day 6, pupils create a creative story using their magical number, incorporating it into elements such as age, quantity, date, or events, or anything they want in the story. This integrates mathematics with creativity and literacy skills. So through these activities, pupils develop both mathematical understanding and creative thinking, while enjoying a hands-on engaging learning process. So here are some examples or the hasil that the students have created for this PBL. So the PBL activity is based on the SKP Year 3 Mathematics, which is topic 1, numbers within 10,000. Students can understand the numbers within 10,000 very well. They can understand and apply the concept of place value and digit value. They can use the skills of estimation and rounding, and then use their creativity and communication skills to present their work. Besides that, students have personal connection with their chosen number so that they will not be that boring when doing the work. After that, they can have active participation in tasks and discussion because this is in group, so they need to have their collaboration to finish their work. During the practical, I also make innovation. One of the main innovations I implemented during my practicum is the use of fraction balance as a teaching aid. Fraction balance consists of the pipe PVC, which is the body of the balance, and then I use the cards, the number fraction cards to represent the numbers. So here's are the example of using fraction balance. For example, the first image shows the balance is in balance position, which means that 1/2 is equal to 8. 4/8, sorry. 4/8. Then the second picture shows the fraction balance is in unbalanced. Means that 1/2 is bigger than the another fraction. So this fraction balance allows people to visually see the equivalent fractions by manipulating fraction pieces. By using this tool, pupils can explore abstract concepts in a concrete way, which helps the student to better understand fractions and relate mathematical ideas to real-life context. This innovation also increases pupil engagement as they are able to physically interact with the materials and explore the relationship between fractions independently or in groups. I observed that pupils were more motivated to participate and discuss their ideas during lessons when I am using this tool. For example, students will ask the question like, "Teacher, why the balance are not balanced even you use the same card? Same piece of card, same weight or anything." From here, we can know that students they are thinking about why it shows the unbalance. This is because the fraction 1/2 is always larger than 1/3. So from here, we can explain that this is not an equivalent fraction when the fraction balance shows unbalance. In addition to the fraction balance that I have explained just now, I also use a variety of teaching materials, which is the BBM, to support learning. They are including PPT slides. I'm using Canva to display lesson objective, examples, worksheet, discussion, or anything. Next, I have activity cards for hands-on exercises. I also use the mini whiteboards for formative assessment to test the students' understanding. And then I have some worksheets and workbook exercises to make sure the students can learn the concept well. Lastly, I have manipulative materials to support visualization and conceptual understanding among the students. These materials help to make the lessons more interactive and engaging, allowing pupils to actively participate in activities rather than just passively receiving the information. I found that using BBN effectively enhances pupils' attention and retention of concepts. During my practicum, I apply formative and informal assessment strategies to monitor pupils' understanding. This included oral questioning and discussion to check their comprehension, which are Q&A session. Mini whiteboard responses to see pupils' answers immediately. students need to write their answer on the mini whiteboard they have and then show the answer to me so that I can know the answer is correct or not. And then lastly, I have short quizzes and workbook exercise to evaluate their understanding. Formative assessment helped me to identify pupils who needed additional support while also allowing pupils to reflect on their learning and correct mistakes immediately. I encountered some difficulties while conducting my practicum, which makes my practicum was going not that smoothly. One major difficulty was communication barriers. Many students enter with little or to no exposure to Mandarin at home. So this makes it difficult for them to follow the lessons because they don't understand what teacher saying, what they need to do. Then it have difficulties to interact with peers or express complex idea. So, and also some pupils were able to explain their answers verbally, but they had difficulties expressing the same ideas clearly in written form. Another challenges was the different learning abilities of pupils. Some pupils can get and master the concept quickly, while the others require more guidance and time to understand the concept. Finally, the time management was sometimes an issue as some activities took longer than expected among the students, requiring me to adjust the pace of the lesson. To address the challenges that I have mentioned just now, I implemented several strategies. Firstly, I provided guided examples and demonstrated writing steps clearly on the whiteboard. This is to make sure the students can follow the step one by one until they can get the answer and get the idea of writing steps correctly. Secondly, I use visual aids and manipulative to help pupils connect verbal explanation with written answers. After that, I also encourage pair or group discussion before pupils wrote their answers, which improve confidence and clarity. Somehow, some students prefer pair discussion more than group discussion, but this apply the concept PAK 21, which is think patient. They can think first and pairing discussion, after that share their answer. Lastly, I implemented differentiated activities, providing the simpler exercises for pupils needing support and followed by more challenging tasks for advanced pupils. As a result, I observed improvements in pupils' written responses, participation, and overall understanding of concepts. Overall, this practicum experience has been a very meaningful and valuable learning journey for me as a future teacher. Through this experience, I have learned the importance of using appropriate teaching strategies, creative teaching materials, and effective classroom management to support pupils' learning. I also realized that every pupil learns differently, and therefore teacher must be flexible and responsive in adapting their teaching approaches. This practicum has also helped me to develop greater confidence in my teaching abilities, as well as improve my skills in lesson planning, classroom interaction, and also the problem solving. Moving forward, I will continue to reflect on my teaching practices and strive to improve my instructional strategies in order to create a more engaging, inclusive, and effective learning environment for my pupils. That's all from me for my RPP presentation. Thank you for lending me your ear and for your attention. Thank you. Have a nice day.